Good afternoon, beekeepers and bee enthusiasts. How you doing? It's another great day at the farm, and it's a little cloudy out today, and so we're not going to be going into any beehives or anything, but we thought we would come at you with another natural beekeeping swarm catching tip. And so pretty much let's just get straight to it. So pretty much when we're putting our swarm hives up, there's something very important we have to consider that we put into these swarm hives. And that important thing is swarm catching tip number 3, the right kind of bait. And pretty much you want to make sure you have these hives baited with the right thing so you will be successful in catching some bees. So let's just go to it. There's 3 big things that we talk about when we talk about using bait for swarm hives, okay? 3 big things. 1 is Propolis, 2 is Lemongrass Essential Oil, and 3 is some old comb, preferably from one of your hives or something, but old comb. So these are the 3 big things you're going to use. And we've got the swarm hive here, and we're just going to talk about how we bait it. So yeah, let's just go ahead and take a look. So the first thing we want to talk about using is Propolis, okay? Now Propolis, if you don't know, is tree resin that bees collect in nature, and they use it on the inside of their hive to basically seal cracks and put frames together and all kinds of stuff, and it has a very nice smell to it. And if you can take this and rub it on the inside of the swarm hive, it gives it a very welcoming smell, and the bees will certainly appreciate this when they're searching for a hive. So pretty much I just get right on the inside, I take the Propolis and I rub it on the walls. And you'll notice I've taken a box cutter and I've kind of cut little cracks on the walls, and that's just to help the Propolis collect on the walls better. So you take that Propolis, you rub it on the inside, and this will give the hive a very nice smell. And yeah, I highly recommend you use some Propolis anytime you can. Okay, so we got some Propolis in. Now I should mention, where do you get Propolis? Well, if you already have beehives, then you can get Propolis on the inside of your hive. It's like brown, and like I said, it'll be kind of like on the edges of your frames and stuff like that, and in cracks, and you can use that on the inside of your swarm hives. If you don't have beehives to collect Propolis from, you can go to horizontalhive.com, and there Dr. Leah Sharashkin has a very good, nice website about how to build lands, hives, and all kinds of materials and all kinds of cool stuff. But he also sells Propolis, and so you can buy little packs of Propolis, and he'll ship it to you, and then you pretty much use that. So there you go. Now, next big thing we want to talk about, this is a big one, is Lemongrass Essential Oil. Okay, now this Lemongrass Essential Oil gives a scent to the bees that basically says, this is a good home, like this is a good home. So you take the Lemongrass Essential Oil and you put it inside your hive, and you stand a really good chance of catching a swarm. Now, one thing you gotta know, you do not want to over apply the Lemongrass Essential Oil. You gotta understand, bees have a very high sense of smell, and if you overload your swarm hive with too much Lemongrass Essential Oil, they will go away from it, like they won't be attracted to it. So what we use is what's called a slow release tube. So we take the Lemongrass Essential Oil. And by the way, you can get the Lemongrass Essential Oil once again from Dr. Leah's website. My little suction thing kind of broke on me, so that's okay. Okay, so I got another Lemongrass Essential Oil bottle right here. So you get the Lemongrass Essential Oil on the inside, and basically you fill it about halfway, and this slow release tube has a very small hole in the bottom of it that releases the Lemongrass Essential Oil at just the right amount. So when it comes out, it doesn't overpower the bees when they come out. So you take these, and you can just take like a little staple. If you look on the inside of here, take a little staple, put it on the wall right above the entrance, And then you just take that vial and you just put it in just like that. And that's basically it. All right, so now the big thing, this is a big piece of bait, the final piece of bait, and it's some old comb, okay? Now, if you can get some old comb and put in your hive, when bees go to that swarm hive, they will say, oh my God, there's already comb in here. Like, we can get started. Like, this is great. So what am I talking about old comb? This right here, okay? Now this is old black comb. It's just been, it's been around for a little bit, but this is some really good bait. It's got a very strong scent. Now you probably noticed there's a little damage to it right here, and what this was honey that was on the frame. And what you have to know, this is a big advice, never put honey on the inside of your swarm hive. Never, never, never. Don't ever do it. Because you might be thinking you're attracting bees by putting honey on the inside of your swarm hive. What you're actually doing is inviting a ton of robber bees to come to your swarm hive, and they'll be coming in and out, and you'll think you've caught a swarm, but they're just robber bees. So any kind of honey you have on the frame, you need to make sure you get that out. But yeah, if you can get some old comb like this is some really good swarm attractant for honeybees. And we just use one frame. We don't fill the whole thing with old comb. You know, you just use one frame, and that's usually sufficient. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then the rest of the frames we use these frames with 1 inch foundation on them. And that's always been sufficient for us. It's never been a problem. It's always been plenty for us. We don't put foundation down the whole frame. And yeah, that's about it. So, you know, again, those 3 pieces of bait that you use, even if you could only get like 1 or 2 of them, like when we first started, we did not have comb. So we pretty much just baited the swarm hives with lemongrass essential oil and propolis. And we caught swarms that way. Our first 2 years, that's all we did, and we still caught swarms. So if you don't have any comb, just those 2 things are pretty good. And that's about it. And we hope you've enjoyed this natural beekeeping swarm catching tip.